there are several types of the marine environment or marine ecosystem, not a marine environment, marine ecosystems in the marine environment. I have already explained about how the this muddy, or you can say this muddy shore, or you can say this rocky shore, or you can say this estuary looks like, or what are the different organisms are there. Then we have this coral reefs, we have polar, where we have polar bear as well. Then we have the seagrass meadows, we have seaweed ecosystem, and then we have deep sea hydrothermal vents. This is not limited to this all examples what I am showing here. There could be several other marine ecosystems, but I am just showing some of the examples here, right? Some of the types here. Now, irrespective of whatever ecosystem you take, there would be two components of it, right? So there is a structural component of ecosystem. So two component of it. One is abiotic component and the other one is the biotic component. Abiotic component consists of the physical factors, that is the climatic factor, edaphic factor, and the geographic factors, right? In the climatic factor, we know that sunlight, temperature, not humidity, humidity is one, wind or waves or and other river runoff and so on, right? Then we have the edaphic factor where we have the soil types, or you can also say the sediment type of the sandy shore as well as the mud flats and so on. And then we have the altitude, latitude, and longitude at the geographical scale. Then we have the chemical factors, for example, volatile organic compounds, inorganic compounds, trace elements, nutrients, and pollutants, right? We all know that the importance of the abiotic component. For example, if there is no light energy and if there is no carbon dioxide, photosynthesis will not take place, right? And also it is important to understand that the stable or ambient abiotic factor is important, because you can see in this particular example that because of whatsoever reason, I can say that because of the temperature, let's say in this example, if the temperature is increased, this coral is bleached. Okay, so again, a stable abiotic component is important in order to a ecosystem function, right? We have seen that there in the intertidal zone, what all the abiotic and the biotic factors are. Again, abiotic and the biotic factor in the sublittoral zone, and then open sea, open ocean, and the deep sea. I'm not going to repeat it again. So once we know that what are the different abiotic and the biotic component of the structure of the ecosystem, we can go further into the in understanding the biotic component. Again, there are producers that can be photoautotrophs, that can be chemoautotrophs, and then there are consumers at different levels, primary, secondary, tertiary, and that consumer could be herbivore, carnivore, omnivore, detritivore, and so on, right? And each and every trophic level in the food chain is linked with the decomposers, because they will die or they will decompose, right? We can see the example here. If this is a coral reef, right? So many organisms are linked with the coral reef. So that's an example of the biotic interaction, right? Again, you have prey-predator relation where the big fishes eat the small fishes, right? Then you have a producers which is being fed by the consumer, right? And then in a nutshell, all the producers will be fed by consumers at different trophic levels, and this interaction itself is a very good example of biotic interaction into the structure of ecosystem. So now, in order to understand the functional aspect of the ecosystem, we know that the energy flow, it's a unidirectional, right? Why it is called as unidirectional? Because it is starting from the producer or from the sun, let's say, and then it is going into the tertiary consumer level, right? Whereas the nutrient cycle, it is called a cycle because it is cyclic in nature, and whatever is going into the different trophic level, or let's say the nutrients, it's a cyclic process, right? So we have to understand the functional aspect of the ecosystem in the terms of energy flow and the nutrient cycle. We will go in the energy flow. In the energy flow, we know that in general what it is considered, that whatever the unit of radiation coming to the land or to the marine ecosystem, or let's say aquatic ecosystem, only some percentage of the light will be converted into the converted by the producers into the organic matter, right? Let us say 2% in this particular example, and 98% is lost. And after that, there is a 10% rule, which is quite evident and which is uh, uh, quite commonly taught in our classroom, or in general, that there is a 10% rule, that each trophic level there will be a loss of, there will be only 10% of the efficiency of the transfer of the energy in the next trophic level, right? So this is how energy flow works. I will come to this again later. Now, uh, in the energy flow, the first thing is the primary producer will create or will produce the biomass, right? That is called as productivity. Now, if the productivity is happening in per unit area, that is called as primary production. Okay. And now that this organism who are doing the productivity is also will also respire, or will also lose some of the energy during its process, during its organismal process. So there is a net primary productivity, which is gross primary productivity minus respiration, right? And now this is this net primary productivity which will be transferred to the different trophic level in the food chain. Okay, not spending much time because this is a very basic slides. Again, this food wave, what happens is that when several food chains are combined or interacting at different trophic level, forms the food wave. This we know the ecological pyramids. So there are three different types of ecological pyramid of energy. It is always upright because we are getting sunlight from the, light energy from the sun, and that is always higher, and it's a unidirectional. It's upright because always the tertiary, uh, at the tertiary level, we will get the less energy, right? Whereas if we consider the pyramid of biomass, it is uh, it is inverted in the marine ecosystem, because planktons, which are the major primary producers, are very tiny in size, whereas the consumers are mostly whale, sharks, and all those big fishes and mammals, which weigh much more. So that's why it is inverted. And the number again, primary productivity number will be high, individuals will be high because planktons are very small. So there will be millions of cells uh, fed by the primary consumer, and then it will decrease at the tertiary consumer level, right? This is the last concept I wanted to just discuss today, and then we will close today. uh, we have learned, or we have been studying this 10% rule at different trophic level, right? At each trophic level. So but is it actually 10% rule? This is the transfer efficiency at the in the food chain or the food web. Is it always same? So I was just going through, and then there is a very recent article came in 2021 on the 1st of January in Trends in Ecology and Evolution, where they have collected the literature for last 50 to 60 years and then used some mathematical model in order to find out the transfer efficiency. Now, in the graph here, you can see that if you, this the light gray part in here, okay, this is 10% rule, or you can say that at every trophic level there will be only 10% of the energy will be transferred to the higher trophic level. Now you look closely what happens at the individual scale, that whatever you ingest, there are several other ways that, due to the metabolic processes, right, so energy will be released, right, and that determines the growth efficiency, right? Now this is just one individual, and the whole population at that particular trophic level is made up of several individuals, right? And now each individual will respond differently. They will have different growth efficiency. And also each species population, at each species population scale, there is a different maturation, reproduction, and survival of individual life cycle that influences the transfer efficiency. So now, considering all these complexities, we again ask that, is it that simple that there will be 10% of transfer efficiency of production in the ecological pyramid or in the food web? So based on the modeling, though this study also require a lot of further studies, but based on what they have summarized, that in different oceanic biome, for example, in the polar or subarctic biome, in temperate region, in tropical and subtropical region, and the place where upwelling is happening, between 2 to 3, it means between second to third trophic level and third to fourth trophic level, there is a variation in the energy transfer, okay, efficiency, transfer efficiency, and it ranges from, let's say, 0.3 percentage to highest in the tropical 52 percentage. Okay, so it means that it is not always that there will be 10% of transfer efficiency, but it varies greatly from 0.3 to 52% in the different marine environment ecosystem.